everybody, what's up? It's Jules. I'm in my car. This is really the only place in my house I have privacy, so I just figured I would shoot a video out here. I feel crazy talking to myself in my room. So now I'm in my driveway talking to myself. I apologize for the audio problems on my last video. My laptop took a shit on me, so I can't edit on there anymore, and I have to do this all on my phone. And it's a learning curve. I'm still figuring out which app I like and how I'm going to edit things. And it turns out the app I was using is not good for vlogging. If you watch me on TikTok, you know I am a ranter. I don't really, have the ability to make a lot of content. I can't go out and buy things and test them, but I can talk about my experiences as a human being, and for some reason some people like that. I did get a lot of subscribers for my video on Dovey Vanity. I got a lot of rude people as well. So if you don't like me, you're probably not going to like it here, because I am a very opinionated person and I tend to rustle people's jimmies. Today, I decided I feel like ranting. I did rant a little on my TikTok, but honestly, 1 minute is really not enough time to fit every fucking thing that pisses me off, because everything pisses me off. I'm very active on alternative parts of social media, like alternative TikTok, alternative YouTube, Tumblr, alternative Facebook. Those areas of the internet with alternative people, it is kind of a lifestyle thing to be part of the alternative culture and kind of rebel against society standards. So a lot of us are very liberal. So we tend to get in political discussions. And since we're talking about politics and stuff on there, it tends to spur quite a bit of fighting, where people will chime in their opinion when I was just talking to my friend, and I tend to get pissed off at people. Not saying you're not allowed to have an opinion, it's just your opinion sucks. With the 2020 election coming up, people have been getting in arguments a lot more when it comes to universal health care and things of that sort. So I've been getting into arguments with people, and there's just one thing I want to rant about that just keeps happening. I keep having conservative people telling me that it is my fault and other people's fault that we don't have health insurance, because they grew up poor and now they are fine and they have health insurance. So clearly we are just being lazy. Now, one thing that gets me is these people are normally old, like in their 60s and 70s. Like back then things cost like a nickel. Of course you worked your way out of that. You were born into an age of prosperity and you are still benefiting from that. And we were born in the beginning of an age of prosperity and were promised all sorts of wonderful things, only to have that ripped out from under us. And we're probably never going to recover from that. Even then, I get baby conservatives, which are usually teenagers not even old enough to vote, but sometimes they're millennials that are my age, getting up there almost to their 30s or are in their 30s, and they try to shit on me for not having health insurance as a person in my late 20s, and obviously I am just lazy. And they do try to pull out like, oh, I was poor growing up and now I have health insurance, so obviously you guys are doing something wrong. Now, what gets me about these people is they do not know what it is to be poor. They have confused not being rich with being poor. The fact that you did not grow up in a mansion with a butler and a million rooms with all your sisters like a Kardashian does not make you poor. I won't pretend to be the queen of poor people. I grew up better than a lot of people did, probably. But it still fucking chaps my ass when these conservative people that now are wealthy try to talk shit saying they grew up poor and they managed to work their way out of it. Poverty is not a concept they can even understand, and they are acting like they are poor. In high school, I would have friends that would talk about how poor they were, and when I went to their house, I was just mind blown that they had stairs in their house. To me, stairs were something that are in like the mall and like big expensive stores like in and stuff like that. You don't have stairs in your house. That is a commercial thing. That is just bougie. And I felt like an idiot the first time I went and hung out with one of my friends that had 2 stories in their house, because I ran up and down the stairs, like, just mind blown that someone was so rich that they could have stairs in their house. And to a lot of people, that's just normal to live in a 2-story house. It's normal to have internet. It's normal to grow up with cable. It's normal to have a purebred dog like a Pomeranian or a Chihuahua. A lot of people had stuff like that, and that was just normal, and yet they still considered that they grew up poor. A lot of people, when they say, oh, I grew up poor, they had those things. They were the people that showed up to the new school year with a new pair of Vans every year when I wore my brother's old shoes from Walmart. And that's fine. That's middle class. That's not rich by any means. But do not tell me that you grew up poor and worked your way out of it. You grew up with resources that a lot of people didn't have. You likely got a car for your birthday when you were a teenager. You likely had your parents pay for your housing while you went through university, or paid for your university, or were able to live with your parents for free while you did an unpaid internship in a medical program or something. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people cannot afford to go through school and do an unpaid internship. You just have to take what you can get and work full-time fast food. And that's just your life, and you can't work your way out of that because there's just no time for anything else. So do not feed me that shit that I grew up poor and I worked my way out of it. You don't need universal health care. You're just lazy. You are not poor, okay? No, you don't. You can't even understand what it is to be poor. You just think not being rich means you're poor, but there's levels to this shit. Now, it's okay to not understand. I am not saying there's anything wrong with not understanding or that you're stupid if you don't understand. There's a lot of things I don't understand. I am white and currently blonde. I could not fucking fathom how it could be to be a person of color trying to deal with discrimination. That's something I don't understand. That's something I'll never understand. I am cisgender. I will never understand what it's like to be transgender, non-binary. There's just things that certain people cannot understand, and it's okay to not understand. It doesn't make you a bad person. The thing is, you need to understand that you don't understand. You need to try to rationalize it or put yourself in those person's shoes because you can't. That's okay. So don't try to pretend like, oh, what it would be like if you were in that situation, because you will never be in that situation. Just sit there, understand, like, yeah, that sucks, and we need to make it so it does not suck for those people. Think about things other than yourself instead of saying, like, well, I had a situation like that and it was fine. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And you don't understand. I am speaking as someone who was at one point homeless when I was around 18, 19. I lived in my car. Not this car. This is actually a lot nicer than the car I was living in. It was not fun, okay? There are things about being poor that you can't even comprehend until you have been in a situation where you were living in poverty or homeless. You never even think about until you're stuck in that situation is, where do homeless women get tampons? They don't. And then you want to know, why is it so hard to find a job when you're homeless? Because you're walking around with a big fucking blood stain on your ass. Or then you go stuff like, oh, but food is cheap. You can stuff like rice, potatoes, beans, that's cheap. You don't need food stamps. I was homeless. Where the fuck am I supposed to cook rice? I got a bag of potatoes thinking like, oh, it's fine. I can easily cook a potato. Yeah, no, food stamps don't cover tinfoil. So, even just trying to fucking cook a potato on the barbecue at the park was just not happening. So I was eating fast food, and you guys want to act like people are wasting their money and being entitled when you can't even comprehend what it's like to not have access to a microwave. So yeah, don't fucking talk to me about how it's easy to move up in life when at 18 you were going to sorority meetings not having to work because you got your parents to pay your bills or let you live with them. Well, I was sleeping in a car parked in a park with blood all over my legs because I just couldn't afford to do anything about my bodily functions. And look, obviously I am in a car right now in the driveway of the house I'm renting because I did eventually work my way out of that situation. And it was by no means easy. And yet you are still telling me that I did not work hard enough because I don't have health insurance. I can't afford to have kids. I don't fucking want kids anyway. I'm not going on vacations. So you're telling me that I have fucked up because I worked my way from sleeping in a park to living with roommates, and that's not good enough? That is not something you could ever comprehend. You did not work your way up from that. You did not work your way up from the bottom. And there's a lot who have been off worse than that, and you are shitting on them and telling them that they don't have a right to go to the hospital because they have so much more ladder to climb to get on the level that you are. You started up here. Of course you're up here. Someone that's way down here below the screen is not going to be up there yet. And that's okay. And it's okay that we're on different levels. But the thing is, you need to understand that we're on different levels. You don't have to understand what it's like to be on another level. But you just have to understand that you don't understand.